the floor beneath her desk was already cracked. Dust rained from the ceiling. Somewhere, someone screamed. Then came a noise that didn't sound like anything human, a deep groan, like the earth itself splitting open. The room lurched sideways. A girl reached for her friend's hand and missed. Then the floor collapsed, and she was falling, along with concrete, steel, sewing machines, and over 1,000 people. April 24th, 2013. In the industrial suburb of Savar, near Dhaka, thousands of garment workers filed into Rana Plaza, a massive 8-story building packed with textile factories. Most were women, many were teenagers. They made clothes for brands sold across the globe: Primark, Walmart, Benetton. The workers sat at long, crowded tables, their hands blistered from hours of stitching. They had seen the cracks the day before, wide cracks, spider webbing across the walls and floors. The building had been evacuated. Engineers warned it wasn't safe. But that morning, management told everyone to come back. A manager stood at the entrance and said the structure was sound. Some workers refused. Most were threatened, told they'd lose their jobs if they didn't go in. At 8:57 a.m., the lights flickered. Then the building imploded, each floor pancaked onto the one below. The sound was like an explosion, but longer, drawn out. Steel rods twisted, beams snapped, the air filled with dust, screams, and the thunder of collapsing concrete. Within 90 seconds, Rana Plaza was gone. A cloud of gray blanketed the streets. Inside, thousands were trapped in the ruins. Some were buried instantly, others were crushed slowly, limbs pinned, backs broken, breathing in dust and darkness. A young woman clawed through concrete with a shard of glass to reach air. Another worker, both legs crushed, sent voice messages from her phone. "Please help us," she whispered. "I'm alive. Don't leave me." Volunteers arrived first. Locals, students, shopkeepers. They tunneled into the wreckage with their bare hands, pulling survivors out through holes barely wide enough for breath. They worked for days without rest, crawling into the broken belly of the building with nothing but flashlights and hope. One woman was found alive after 17 days, trapped under a stairwell, drinking rainwater that leaked through cracks in the rubble. Around her were the dead, the silent. Her name was Reshma. Rescue teams pulled out body after body, limbs twisted unnaturally, faces frozen in pain. Entire families waited outside the collapsed building, holding photographs, sobbing as rows of makeshift body bags were laid out in the sun. Some victims were too disfigured to identify. The stench of death settled over the town like a fog. When the final count was made, 1,134 people were dead. Over 2,500 more were injured, many with lifelong disabilities. The building was never meant to house factories. It had been built without permits, with substandard materials and floors illegally added above the approved height. Heavy machinery had been installed where the structure couldn't bear it. Inspectors were bribed, warnings were ignored, lives were deemed expendable. The building's owner, Sohel Rana, was a politically connected businessman. After the collapse, he fled, only to be captured trying to escape across the border. He smiled in photos, handcuffed and defiant. He wasn't alone. Factory owners, engineers, and officials all shared blame, but few faced real justice. International outrage followed. Brands disavowed knowledge. Some offered compensation. Most did not. A few companies quietly continued sourcing from other buildings just like it. For the families of the dead, justice came in the form of silence. For survivors, it came in the form of prosthetic limbs, trauma, and empty pay envelopes. Rana Plaza wasn't an accident. It was the cost of cheap fashion, paid in blood, stitched into the seams of shirts hanging in stores half a world away. And every garment made in its final hours still made it to market. Thank you for listening to Road to Ruins. Subscribe for more true stories where systems fail and people pay the price.